Do you think selling as is like a free pass? Think again. What if I told you that selling as is could cost you thousands, if not tens of thousands? Hey, I'm Rebecca Gaetz-Bishop with the Gaetz Home Team at Keller Williams Premier Realty, your Central Illinois realtor of choice. Today, we are going to dive into a topic that comes to my attention quite often, and that is selling your house as is. I've had tons of sellers come to me thinking that selling as is means zero work, a fast sale, no headaches. But the truth is, selling as is has its pros, and it definitely has its cons, and could land you in some hot water. So let's bust some of these myths and get right to the truth. Myth number one is the effortless escape. So here's the big myth. I'm selling as is, so I don't have to do anything and I can just walk away and be free of any issues with the house. I'm off the hook, right? Not so fast there, not necessarily. In Illinois and in many other states, you still have legal obligations to disclose to the buyer any known defects in the house. It doesn't matter that you're selling it as is. It is still your responsibility to notify in writing to the buyer the known defects that you're aware of, such as perhaps you get water in your basement. I feel like this is a pretty common one. People get water in the basement. You did not disclose it. You knew you get water in the basement and it was not on your disclosures. The buyer buys the property and lo and behold, 2 days later it rains and they get water in the basement. Well, here's the deal, guys. You can't pretend like that water issue did not exist. It did, and you knew about it, and this can put you in some real tough legal situations by not disclosing. So as is doesn't mean as unknown. Transparency protects both the buyer and the seller. Here's the reality. Most buyers can handle the truth. If you say that you get some water in the basement, they get to make a decision. Do they still want to buy the house? And in most cases, if they love the house and it doesn't get a lot of water, they're going to buy the house. But at least they came into that knowing. When it's hidden from them, when somebody does not disclose, then they get angry, then they want to take legal action. So here's a little reality for the seller. We're going to talk money because that is usually why sellers want to sell as is. Maybe they don't have the money to make repairs, or they don't want to. They just want to put it up for sale as is, leave, and not have to worry about anything, which I totally understand. But let's break this down a little bit. What sellers don't understand is that when we put a label on it as is, it puts a negative stigma on the property because buyers are wondering what's wrong with it. Why are they selling it as is? Not that there is anything wrong with it. It is just how buyers will perceive the words as is. This then can translate into receiving a lower offer, which means less money for you as the seller. And it could potentially keep your house on the market longer than necessary. It may have cost you $5,000 to fix that air conditioner that went bad, but it cost you $20,000 in a potential sale. Most of the time, it is most cost effective to make the minor changes, make the minor repairs, rather than to go into selling the house as is. This is something that you can talk to your agent, like me, talk to them about this and really dive deep to see, is it beneficial? Is it better for me to make this repair and sell the house as is? I can almost guarantee you that 9 times out of 10, the agent's going to say make the repair. Here's the deal. The longer your house sits on the market, the more buyers get cautious. Your offers come in lower and your days on market go up. Now you're stuck reducing the price regardless. Now, don't get me wrong. Selling as is could be a great option, but you have to go into it with eyes wide open and understand the potential loss that you're taking in the sales price. Now let's flip the script a little bit. For a buyer, this can mean that they're getting a great deal or they're getting into a huge disaster. So when a buyer hears as is, red flags should go up a little bit and they need to do their homework because what they're getting into is a house as it is in its current condition. So it's really important to do your homework and make sure you really know what the current condition is before deciding to write an offer of as is. As is means that seller's not promising to make any contractual repairs on the property. So I always recommend that buyers get an inspection, especially in an as-is situation. Get that inspection done ahead of time because what you're doing is really gambling, and not the fun kind of gambling like you could do in Vegas. So here's an example. A buyer goes in, they love the house, they were going to buy it as is, but they decided to get an inspection, and thank goodness that they did, because there is $18,000 worth of foundation work that needed to be done. That's a lot. Most buyers don't have that extra $18,000 to put into a house that could potentially have other issues too. So thank goodness that they did do their homework. They did have a home inspection. They were able to get out of the contract. Whew! Now don't get me wrong, and don't let as-is houses scare you away. What happens often is when a seller says that they're selling a house as is, they get an accepted offer. The buyer says they are going to buy it as is with inspections, and then an inspection occurs and there is a contractual issue that would have been dealt had it not been as is. Many times if the buyer's going to walk away, the seller will still say, hey, I will go ahead and make that repair. But it's a chance that you're taking, kind of risky. So again, buyer beware, buyer do your homework, buyer make sure you have an agent that's working in your best interest. So what's the best way to handle a as-is home, whether you're the buyer or the seller? Number one, disclose everything that you know. Disclosing more is better than disclosing nothing when you know something's wrong. Make sure that you work with your agent, that's me, to make sure that you are pricing the house right from the beginning. Be open to negotiations. This is what happens when you are selling a house. Negotiations happen. Don't take offense to it. Buyers are going to try to get the best price that they can get. For a buyer, make sure you get that home inspection. I'm going to say it one more time. Make sure you get that home inspection. Understand the risks, do your due diligence, and don't skip out on that. And if you are planning on renovating, have a contractor that you trust, that you can kind of run some numbers with so you know exactly what you're getting into. And for both the buyer and the seller, lean on the professionals that you've chosen to work with. You should be able to count on them to help you out, walk you through some questions, and lead you in the right direction. Communicate clearly with your agent so that everybody knows where we're standing. And make sure you understand the real estate contract that you are signing, because it is a legal document. I've seen as-is deals work out perfectly, and I've seen them fall apart. The difference is education and the right team working with you. So tell me, what surprised you the most about selling a house as is, whether you're a buyer or seller? Leave your comments below. I'm just curious. So if you found this information helpful, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell button so that you never miss any of the real estate truth here in the Peoria, Woodford, and Tazewell County area. I'm Rebecca Gaetz-Bishop with Keller Williams, here to help you make smart, confident decisions in regards to your real estate, as is or not.